Before we get this week's Monday Night Raw review started, I want to throw out a special shout out to Jimmy Chaos and the Chaos Unsilenced or Cussed YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know, Cuss is a YouTube channel where he talks about certain topics in the news, whether it be YouTube related or topics that are in the news or have been reported in the news. And not only does he report on them, but he also discusses them and gives his personal opinions on the stories. And while that's going at the exact same time, there's gameplays, which is kind of like something I used to do here on WGS-TV during reviews, was having some gameplays in the background while we discussed wrestling. He does the exact same thing, except he discusses news topics, and he also gives users or fellow YouTubers out there the ability to submit their own gameplays and get a shout out and have their gameplays featured on the channel while he's discussing the certain topics of the day. And a couple of days ago, I sent in the core gameplay footage of part 8 of my Let's Play of Uncharted 4, and it got selected, and Jimmy gave me a shout out on his YouTube channel. So I want to return the favor to him. I'm going to put the link to his YouTube channel in the description box below. I highly recommend you guys check him out. I watch his videos every single day. In fact, I'm going to be tweeting this out to Jimmy. So Jimmy, if you're watching this, from one small YouTuber to a big YouTuber, I just want to say thank you very much for the shout out. Thank you for selecting my gameplay to be up on your YouTube channel, and I might be sending in a couple of more gameplays possibly in the near future to be shown on your channel. So Jimmy, I hope that you stick around for and listen to what I do here on YouTube, and that's review wrestling shows, in particular Monday Night Raw for the week of September 19th, 2016. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
Times NWA World's Heavyweight Champion Scrapper Adam Pierce, and you're watching WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer. I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer. This week's Monday Night Raw would be the go-home show for Clash of Champions. A new championship match was added to the card for the Clash, as well as one match being revised, whereas Mick Foley used to say when he was the executive shareholder in TNA, tweet, and for the first time in quite some time, an enjoyable steel cage match for the main event. Let's talk about Raw. As expected, Roman Reigns would open up Monday Night Raw this week to his usual chorus of boos, even though technically he's not a heel, but I suppose the IWC don't give a dang about that now, do they? Seth McMahon and Mick Foley would follow suit, and what they used this segment for was to officially set up two matches. The first match at Clash of the Champions, Rusev will be defending the United States Championship against Roman Reigns, and then for later on in the evening, a rematch between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Out would come the Universal Champion to voice his objections to it, to which Foley would name the stipulation of the match a steel cage match. Backstage, Stephanie was voicing her concerns over putting Owens in a steel cage match 6 days before the Clash, when the United States Champion Rusev, along with his lovely bride Lana, to basically insult Foley, as most heels do on Raw these days, and to promote Lana and Edge's new movie, which is supposed to be out today. And as stated in the opening segment, Foley would re-emphasize the announcement of the United States Championship match for the Clash. First match this week was Seth Rollins taking on Rusev. I have to say, put anybody, I mean absolutely anybody, in front of Rusev, and the crowd will cheer for you. Hell, that's how they turned Jack Swagger face, albeit he went nowhere fast after that, but that's beside the point. From my vantage point, Rollins worked this match more as a face than his usual heel style, which kind of tells me that the face turn has already been put in place for Rollins. Now, having both men being counted out in a way kind of saves both of them from looking weak on a go-home show. That is until they will move to the Raw announce table, and Rollins dived off of it and onto Rusev, who was on the floor with a crossbody. Backstage, it was brought to everyone's attention by Dana Brooke that last week in the triple threat match, both Bayley and Sasha Banks were double pinned. Dana pitched the idea to Mick Foley about having Banks and Bayley fight it out tonight for the #1 contendership. Then Foley turned it around and made it a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship, and would thank Dana for the idea, which got got her shoved by her titties to the ground by Charlotte. Backstage, Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens were upset over the cage match, and Jericho would say that he was going to make a list of everything Foley's done wrong as general manager and that he wouldn't like it. But we would. Trust me, I'll talk about it when we get to that point in the show. Up next was a rematch from last week as Cara took on Braun Strowman, and once again, it wasn't a straight-up squash match, but still, they went the way of Strowman. I did like the moonsault catch into the Powerslam finish, though. I honestly think the British Bulldog Powerslam would be a great finisher for Strowman since he is technically a power guy. Backstage, Sasha Banks and Bayley were getting ready for their match, would disagree about the double pin finish from last week, put over the triple threat match for the women's title at the Clash, and bring up their history from NXT. And if anyone hasn't seen what they've done in NXT, then I feel bad for you because you definitely missed out. Up next, it was Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on Charlotte and Dana Brooke. As expected, 3 out of the 4 talents involved in the match were solid. I'll leave it up to you guys as to who I believe wasn't. Banks' back was really worked over in this match, so look for that to be a hindrance of sorts, or for it to come into play come the triple threat match at the Clash. The finish of the match, however, was Charlotte with a big boot to the jaw of Bayley to pick up the win, and with this being a go-home show, what does that say for the Raw Women's title match at the Clash? In Stephanie McMahon's office, Seth Rollins would confront her once again about Triple H, and once again Stephanie would profess her innocence in the matter and that she didn't know anything. Basically, the whole gist of this segment was to basically pad the face turn even more by Rollins by having him oppose the heel authority of sorts in Stephanie McMahon. And with Stephanie's jabs at Rollins by saying Owens has replaced him as the man, really helped the turn even more in my opinion, and she sure knows how to sell heel heat. Up next, it was Bo Dallas taking on Gary Graham. Graham, if I heard correctly, was put over by the commentators as the grandson of Michael PSA, so he has some lineage with them. He must be working with the Memphis Independents, which really wouldn't surprise me. But once again, this was another talent enhancement match for Bo to put over Bo's new gimmick. Hint to WWE. If you really want to help put over this new gimmick of Bo's, have him come out in newer gear, because he's still going out there in his social outcast gear. Up next, it was Sheamus taking on Cesaro in match 6 of the Best of 7 series. Now, is anyone really surprised that Cesaro went over and tied the series with the finale of the series happening at the Clash? If anyone was, they need to slap themselves in the face with a fish. Once again, a solid match in the series. The white noise on the apron was a nice spot, as well as there was a unique backbreaker spot as well. The finish of the match, however, was Cesaro hitting the Gotch Neutralizer on Sheamus to pick up the win. Backstage, Chris Jericho presented Mick Foley with the List of Jericho! Hilarious. He was even in the ring to present the list, and who remembers his list of 1,001 holds from his feud with Dean Malenko in WCW. Big Cass and Enzo were the first ones out there to confront Jericho, then the Shining Stars would respond, next followed by The New Day, and Xavier Woods would put over his iPhone 7 giveaway on the Up Up Down Down YouTube channel, and then it would be the club to put over the tag team title match at the Clash. Sami Zayn would come out and the brawl would initiate during the commercial break, the 10-man tag team match would be set up as I figured it would. For the match itself, it was a 10-man tag team match, and it served its purpose, in my personal opinion, to be entertaining while filling time for Raw. The finish of the match was Enzo and Big Cass with the Bada Boom Shakalaka on Primo to pick up the win. Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho at the Clash was also pushed heavily during this match by the commentary team. Just figured I would bring it up here. Now it was time for the Cruiserweights and their debut on Monday Night Raw. Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, Grand Metalik, and the Brian Kendrick. Mick Foley would kind of botch the announcement at first, but then he would also announce that the Cruiserweight Championship would be on the line at the Clash, and the number 1 contendership would be determined in a fatal 4-way, and needless to say, the Cruiserweights absolutely shined and captivated last night, and really showed why the Cruiserweight Classic really shined. The finish of the match was Brian Kendrick locking on the Bully Choke, now renamed the Pirate's Hook, on Alexander to pick up the win. This was the first time Kendrick's been on Raw since 2009, I believe, so it was good to see him on Raw and being pushed towards a run at the Cruiserweight Championship at TJ Perkins. Up next was the main event, the steel cage match with Kevin Owens taking on Roman Reigns, and despite how the IWC feels about Reigns, honestly, I really don't care how the IWC feels about him. This was a really well-worked match. I don't exactly remember the last time we had a good steel cage match on Raw, so I like what they did with Reigns Rollins and Owens. With Reigns escaping the cage first to win the match, and how heated the feud is with him and Rusev, it was kind of expected to have Rusev down there. And how about Seth Rollins and his leap off the top of the cage on the KO and Rusev to make the save to close out Raw? I guess with Rollins turning face, they need him to do more Daredevil type of spots for excitement purposes, one would think. Overall score on Raw this week gets a 3.45 out of 5 with best match of the night, going to the Cruiserweight Fatal 4-Way with the steel cage match, a very close second. Funniest segment of the night goes to Chris Jericho and the List of Jericho! That to start trending during WWE shows now. Anyway, guys and gals, what I want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure to put your comments in the comment section below. Also, don't forget, I go live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central Time with Nick Nade Fuquay and Mark the Smart Craha with Sports Entertainment Tonight, our live call-in wrestling talk show. So if there's a wrestling topic you want to talk about, like this week, we'll definitely be previewing Clash of Champions, then call into our show Thursday night or ask it in our live chat room. We'd love to interact with you guys. Also, if you like this video, be sure you slam that like button like a champ. And if you haven't yet, subscribe for more from your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer right here on WGS-TV. Also, don't forget, I'll have a couple videos in the annotations for you guys to check out as well. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys!
Oh. Wait, okay, I'm gonna have to look back up the video, but I could have sworn I just...
Again, another waste of an arrow.